Hey guys, Darkseid Templar back again with another Riftbound video. I just wanted to make this video to go through some of the cards that were released at PAX Unplugged last weekend, as well as the cards that have thus been released up to this point, and then showcasing what my Legend's going to be with this new set, and then some of the cards that fit into that deck. So first we'll go through the 12 Legends that were released at PAX Unplugged last weekend. So we'll go in order of color, and then it looks like alphabetical order. So we'll go over Azir first. So he's going to be in the common order runes. His ability says your Sand Soldiers have Weapon Master, so that's another new ability this set. So to pay 1 rune, to exhaust 1 rune, you can play a 2 Might Sand Soldier unit token to your base. Use only if you've played an equipment this turn, so that's another thing. There's new equipment cards, so tying into that a lot. Next you have Draven, who's part of the Fury Chaos set, so just like Jinx and Annie. So when you win a combat, draw 1. You win if only your units remain after combat. So pretty standard, just kind of a draw deck there. Kind of fits with the purple and red theme in there. Going over the next two, Ezreal. I know there's a lot of hype around Ezreal and trying to make it work. Right now, I think it seems a little. We don't have enough cards released at this point, so it's going to be interesting to see what they have going on there after. But Prodigal Explorer, it's a reaction to exhaust this, so you draw 1. Use only if you've chosen enemy units and or gear twice this turn with spells or unit abilities. So really going to be feeding into those unit abilities, that's those spells, etc. And again, I forgot to mention, he is Mind and Chaos, so blue and purple. So is going to be able to get that Thousand-Tailed Watcher, a lot of those purple spells like Flash and Fight or Flight, etc. So really interesting unit there, trying to go through your deck pretty quickly. Be interesting to see his champion as well. Next you got Fiora, which is a starter deck in this set. She is Body and Order, so similar to Set. Her ability reads, when one of your units becomes mighty, you may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. And again, a mighty unit is anything that is 5 might or higher. So really feeding into one of, like, fueling your units, which orange and yellow do quite well. Next is going to be Jax, Common Body. So to exhaust 1 rune, attach detached equipment you control to a unit you control. So essentially, if a unit dies, the equipment still stays. So basically, you're going to be able to fuel moving that equipment around if a unit dies, or if you want to move it from one unit to the other. Actually, scratch that. Actually, no, you can attach an attached equipment you control to a unit you control. So without having to spend the rune, you're able to move equipment back and forth or a detached equipment pretty effectively. So he's really going to be playing into that new equipment cards and moving those gears back and forth between your units to help you conquer battlefields and win, basically be an attacker in the showdowns. Next is Rumble. So this is going to be my Legend moving forward. Rumble's my favorite champion in League of Legends. That's the deck that I'm going to make. I'll still make a meta slave deck essentially, but Rumble's going to be my main one that I take to Nexus Nights and stuff and try and really build and learn as much to then take to tournaments as well. So Rumble's going to be Mind and Fury, so very similar to Kai'Sa. So a lot of the cards that I've built for my Kai'Sa deck are going to be able to use with the Rumble deck, so those Thousand-Tailed Watchers, a lot of the kill spells, retreat, etc. And his ability is your mechs have shield, so +1 might while they're defending. So essentially you want to move in all your mechs into the battlefield, hold, beef them up, and just kind of let them do their thing. And in Origins, we had 3 mechs, I believe. Total, I think 2 Fury, 1 Mind. The Mind one had no abilities. It was just a 7 rune, 8 Might unit. The Fury ones had a few card text in the bottom. So we'll go through those because I'll want to spend a little bit more time on the mechs later on, again, to showcase what I'm thinking would be a good lineup for that. I believe we're halfway done. Going through, we have Rek'Sai next, Fury and Order. A lot of the cards released right now for Rek'Sai look really interesting, really trying to go through your deck, play some cards so you can ignore the play cost of those, and really just trying to fuel that going. But her Legend says, and yes, Rek'Sai is a girl for those who have played League of Legends or haven't in the lore, she is a girl. When you conquer, you may exhaust me to reveal the top 2 cards in your main deck. You may play 1, then recycle the rest. So really trying to go through or circumvent the rune cost and the energy cost for that. Next is going to be Ornn. He's Calm in Mind. So reaction, add 1 energy, use only to play gear or use gear abilities. So again, trying to fuel the gear going forward. This plays really well into the Ornn legend in League of Legends. He's trying to sit up there in the top lane, build items and stuff without having to back into your base. So plays 100% into the lore there. The next two here, we got Sivir, which is Body and Chaos. So when you recycle a rune, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. When one or more enemy units die, ready me. So again, trying to get that gold, again, plays into the Sivir champion quite well, trying to generate as much gold as possible and really get to the late game. So she's really going to be interesting. The gold's going to help you play cards, going to help you play gear, equipment, everything. Another unit that's going to help you with your equipment is going to be Lucian. So your equipment each give Assault, and Assault is +1 might while equipped unit is an attacker. So essentially what feeds very well into the Fury, because he's Fury in body. So really going to be using that equipment quite well onto his units, giving them +1 might to attack. So essentially the opposite of what Rumble is, where he's trying to defend and hold the battlefields. Lucian's really trying to take the point and assault those battlefields as much as possible. The last two we have here, we have Renata Glass. Much like Sivir, is going to be generating a lot of gold tokens. So she's in the common order. And then when you or an ally hold, you may exhaust me to play a gold gear token exhausted. And then while your score is within 3 points of the victory score, so when you're at 5 or higher in a normal game, or 6 or higher with, I think it's Aspirant's Climb battlefield, your gold add 1 additional cost. So essentially you're getting double value for your gold. And then the last one here, Irelia, who is Body and Chaos. When you choose a friendly unit, you may exhaust me and pay 1 additional cost to ready it. When you conquer, you may pay 1 additional rune to ready me. So really trying to add in those things, kind of like the seals do, and the seals have really taken off of recently. People are really untapped their potential. I personally only have pulled 2, but I am running those in 2 of my decks to try and just keep the resources open, really keep as many rooms as I can on the battlefield at one point. You're really trying to just play as many cards and just trying to overwhelm the opponent as much as possible. We'll quickly go through the new mechanics as well. So as I said with Sivir and Renata Glass, so this is gold. So there's single-use token gear that you can use to pay a power cost instead of recycling runes. So again, keeping your runes on the battlefield up and ready to go. It can be killed to generate power of any color. So it's regardless of what your rune type is. So pretty straightforward there. Kind of like a recruit token. It's going to stay on your battlefield until it's used up. Next is a repeat mechanic. So this allows you to pay an additional cost in order to repeat the effects on that card. So we see here the signature spell of Rumble. So again, something that I'm going to be playing in my deck, which is Danger Zone. So it is a reaction. So again, play even before spell and ability to resolve. And to repeat, you would have to pay the rune cost and the recycle cost as well, the power cost. So you would have to tap 1 rune and recycle it. And for this card, you give your mechs +1 might this turn. So if you repeat it, you'd give your mechs +2. So again, really trying to get those mechs into the battlefield, hold the battlefield, and then just get as much might as you can with the +1 if they're a defender. And then this, you could add an additional 2 might to it if you repeat. So for this equipment, again, a lot of the legends are relying on equipment and gear. So it's a subtype of gear, which goes to units and modify or enhance them in powerful ways. So the 2 that we see here is Spellsonger and Trinity Force. So Trinity Force, when it says, so you equip it, only to orange units. But when you hold, you score 1 point. So you can double your points gained, and then it also gives +2 might to that unit. So really trying to just beef up your units, and then also trying to give an effect as well, potentially. And then for Spellsonger, equip for 1, and for the green. So as this is attached to a unit, copy that unit's text to this equipment's effect text for as long as it is attached to. So basically doubling the card text for units. So very interesting there that it's able to basically double the ability that a unit has, and it's going to be interesting in the green deck, essentially. So one thing that I can see this working really well with, if you can make it work, is Green Ari. So you would be able to copy the when I hold score 1 point. So if you have this attached to Ari and you hold, you're essentially getting 3 points. So really interesting gear here. Going to be really interesting in green decks where there's a lot of spells and stuff. So if you're able to keep that Ari alive, for example, I'm using that example because I do have an Ari deck right now that I'm really trying to learn. It could really swing a game where you can get 3 points in one turn. Quick draw, so this is another flavor text in the bottom there. It's a new ability which allows you to play equipment as a reaction and attach it to a unit that you control. So it would allow for adding to the chain essentially in any showdowns or anything involved. So what we see here is the signature gear for Draven. So he's not given a signature spell that I'm aware of, it's just signature gear. So it has quick draw again. You can equip it by recycling a rune. And it gives +3 might. So really trying to beef up your Dravens. So if you have like 5 points, your Dravens have 8 might, and then this can give it another 3. So it can really help you get over those Aurora decks, etc. with the high might units. I believe this is the last for the new mechanics. So you got Weapon Master. So this was in Lucian's text, specifically his champion as well. So basically, it allows you to play units and immediately attach equipment to them at a reduced cost. So if they're Weapon Master, they want to get that gear attached to them. Lucian has it here, and in this example, they're using Doran's Blade. So you can equip it, and then Lucian will get +2 might. And you don't have to recycle that 1 rune when you equip it. So essentially, you're just paying the rune cost, the 2, in order to get 2 might onto the Lucian. And now we'll go over, so I'm using Piltover Archive here. We'll go over a few of the new cards, just high level, and I'm going to pinpoint a lot more of the cards that I'm using, or going to be using in the Rumble deck, because they are mechs. So essentially just looking for units that have mech in it, so when they're defending, they get that +1 might. So you can see here the gold token, again, kill this as a reaction, and it adds that recycle cost to it, that power cost. One big one here, Gem Jammer. When you play me, give a unit ganking this turn. So definitely going to be running 3 of these in a Rumble deck. If I get one later in the game, not going to be a problem, especially if I'm really holding onto a battlefield to try and win off of holding points. And now I want to say, hey, okay, I got that 1 point, I'm up to 7, and I want to take over the next battlefield. I can use this, give a unit ganking that's already holding there, or something like a Thousand Tailed, or something we'll see later on, the Ferocious Forerunner, or I forget the blue mech in Origins right now, but that one, that's 8 might. Give it ganking, go over to the other battlefield, take out a few units, and then allow you to move in with other units that you might have in your base. A lot of Void characters here, that's going to work really well with the Rek'Sai. So Void Drone, I cost 2 less to play from anywhere other than your hand. So if it's coming from your discard pile, great. If it's coming from Rek'Sai, from her Legend ability, where you can look at the top 2 cards in your hand, now it's only 1 cost. So really, really strong with the Rek'Sai Legend ability. Same thing with Void Hatchling. If you would reveal cards from a deck, look at the top card list, the top card first. You may recycle it, then reveal those cards. So very interesting. A lot of synergy with Rek'Sai. She is a Void champion, so makes sense. Coming down here, another mech that I'm looking forward to is Ferocious Forerunner. So it has a Death Kneel ability. So play 2 3 might mech unit tokens to your base. So this is, to me, make an assumption that there's going to be mech tokens, like we have the recruit tokens right now, as well as the sprite tokens. So, and we know of the Sand Soldiers. So we haven't actually seen the mech tokens, or the mech tokens. So I would assume they're coming, but more to come on that once it's revealed. But really seems quite powerful. A 6 cost, 1 recycle rune, and then 6 might. Really strong mid-game card, in my opinion. Again, probably going to be running 3 of these, if not 2, and then 1 in the sideboard. We got a bunch of gear here. You have Longsword. If you play League of Legends, it's one of the main starting items in the game, and built into a lot of strong items later on. Piercing Light, so those are Lucian's guns there, so my assumption is going to be really strong in the Lucian decks. Rel, I was really hoping Rel would be a mech, because she's riding a big mechanical horse. I know it kind of converts into her armor and stuff, but I think Rumble needs another champion that isn't going to be Rumble. Obviously, the Rumbles are going to be mechs, but we don't have another red or blue mech champion, so I was really hoping Rel would be that. Otherwise, I'm hoping there's a champion that we haven't seen yet that will be that have that mech. But she has tank, so and then when I attack, you may play an equipment with energy cost no more than 2, ignoring its cost, and attach it to me. So I think this also, I can't remember, there's a blue card that makes the unit a mech. I don't know if that would go along with it. I don't remember if that's equipment or not. I'll actually scroll and see. It is. So one thing that I can see it working with is this card. So Experimental Hexplate. You can give this to Rel, make her a mech. She gets +1 might. So then she gets +1. She has tank, and now you have another +1 might from Rumble's ability. So it could be really unique ability there. I think Rumble needs another champion unit again without us actually seeing the Rumble cards. I don't know why they've been taking so long to be released, but looking forward to that. And then also the alt arts. Really hope it's Super Galaxy Rumble, one of the best skins that Rumble has, if not the best skin. Love it. Always put it on when I play him. Going back up, Rangar. I know this will be a big champion, I think, in the next set or the set after, but he is one of the main proponents, are going to be a legend in one of the sets moving forward. So really interesting to see him as a champion here first, kind of like we had Draven in Origins. Another Void unit here. Again, going to work well with Rek'Sai, Dunebreaker. If you have 2 or fewer cards in your hand, I enter ready. When I hold, draw 2. So trying to get through those cards in your hand, trying to get all the Void units out. And it's just a big body, 7 might unit. It's going to be good. You got the first Rek'Sai champion here. So Rek'Sai the Breacher. It has Accelerate, always good, and it has Assault. And then friendly units played from anywhere other than a player's hand have Accelerate. So going to be quite strong when you're using Rek'Sai's Legend ability. Look at the top 2 cards of your hand and being able to accelerate them. Really going to be able to win a couple of fights right off the bat. It's going to be pretty strong. Going into some of the green units here and green cards here, a lot of gear, a lot of spells here. That's what they do best. So you have Dorn Shield, again, another starting item in the actual game itself. Given the unit tank and +1 might, pretty standard. Feral Strength, which is going to be reaction and a repeat. So you give a unit +2 might this turn, so you can give a unit +4 essentially if you pay the cost twice. Going to be good for if you're trying to hold a showdown, hold the battlefield during a showdown, I should say. I think this artwork is really funny, and the name Thwonk. It's an action and also a repeat, so stun an attacking unit. Going to be nice. So if you use the repeat cost, stun 2 units, that might actually save your unit in a showdown, or it might be able to help you take a battlefield without losing as many units as you want. Going to go over to the champions. Probably will take a little bit more on the champion units as well, since they are based off the League of Legends game and want to see how they relate to how the champion actually is. So for Aphelios Exalted, when you attach an equipment to me, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, and then you can ready 2 runes, channel 1 rune exhausted, or buff a friendly unit. So kind of works with him a lot. Aphelios has 4 different guns or 5 different guns in the game. You cycle through them, so essentially playing off that, you have different options to choose from. You're gonna want to choose one and roll with that. So one that probably will help you for the next turn until you get back to your turn, like into your opponent's turn before it gets back to your turn. We have 2 units coming up here. We have Vizier Ascendant. So it's an action. You may choose a unit you control, move me to its location and into my original location. If it's equipped, you may attach one of its equipment to me, and you can only use once per turn. So essentially like Azir's ultimate or Sand Shuffle, where he's trying to move around the map a little bit, set up for that ultimate play. So he's going to be able to move, if he's in base, to a battlefield. If it's a weaker unit, might be able to save that, and then also attach the equipment. So if you have a 2 cost, 2 might unit there with an equipment, you can switch the equipment, really buff up your Azir, might be able to hold you that battlefield or win in an assault. We also got the first Jax card here. He has Deflect, again very on point with the champion with his dodge mechanics. And then he also has a reaction. So each equipment in your hand has quick draw, so it gains the reaction. So you're able to play equipment onto Jax, which is supposed to be the strongest champion, or says he's the strongest champion because he's using a light post. And then if he had actually a real weapon, he'd be a lot stronger. Going through a rare here, we have Needlessly Large Yordle. Recycling 3 runes is a lot, but he costs 2 less and 1 recycle less for each point you've scored from holding this turn. So if you've held 2 positions, he now costs 6 and 1 recycle. So brings that a little bit on par with what his might is, but might not be getting too much play in it. But he is set there for defending. He has shield 5 and he has tank. So 10 when he's a defender could set up really well into the RE deck and even green RE in order to hold and really make that point hold and take damage away from that RE. So if you somehow set up 2 of these on the battlefield, there's a high unlikely that your opponent's going to be able to take that from you. Next champion we have here, Irelia. So she has deflect again. A lot of deflect units coming in here. I know it was Pouty Poro was a big one from the first set that's used in the Kaiser decks. Now we're seeing it on a lot more other colored units here. So also when you choose a ready meat, give me +1 might this turn. Seems pretty strong. You're just trying to get as much might on as you can on a unit, take a battlefield in an assault, etc. We then have Ornn Blacksmith here. When you play me or when I hold, look at the top 4 cards of your main deck. You may reveal a gear from among them and then draw it, then recycle the rest. So again, playing into Ornn's legend ability and also into the game. He's trying to just get items out as fast as possible and equip them to your units that you have. Moving on to the Mind. So we got a few more mechs here. Again, great for me for the Rumble decks. Bring up Bubblebot here. When you play me, ready another friendly mech. So essentially like the orange one. What's it? Let me scroll and see. It's going to kill me if I don't know it. First Mate, that's it. So essentially like First Mate, when you play me, ready another unit. So specifically working with the mechs there, it's great. So if you have, which I just passed it, where is he? I'm blind. I know I'm blind. The Mega Mech. So again, I know I have one of these in my Kaiser deck. It's just a big body. So like if you play this out and then you play Bubblebot, so if you had 3 runes showing or 10 runes showing, play the Mega Mech, play the Bubblebot, now you can attack, set up the defense, and then now when you pass your turn over to the next person, it gets that +1, so now it becomes a 9 might unit. So really strong, able to hold those battlefields, work well with Rumble's legend ability. Have another Poro, got to point this out, all the Poro cards look great. Now we got a Pirate. Can't say much more about this, and it's great. So when I conquer, play a Gold Gear token exhausted. Works really well with the pirate theme, the Poro theme. Looks awesome. I'm just gonna grab a quick sip of water here. So we got another mech here. We got Breakneck Mech, 8 costs with 2 recycled blue runes. Your mechs have deflect and ganking. This is gonna be really good to just keep in your base. It applies to all the mechs. So now opponents have to pay that extra recycle rune cost in order to use the Speller ability on it. And then it also enters ready if you control another mech. So I think this is going to be definitely 3 in the deck with Rumble. Going to be amazing to have deflect on all of your mechs if you're at so then basically deters from other red decks. So like if there's Kaiser's still relevant, and then any other spells. So really going to be quite interesting trying to control the runes that your opponent has with just 1 unit, and it applies to everything is my understanding of this. So pretty strong there. We already went over Experiment with the Hexplate. Going to be great to make other units max, especially Thousand-Tailed Watchers, etc. It's just going to be such a good card for Rumble. Going to definitely want 3 in the deck for that. Then we have our last mech for now, Prize of Progress. Doesn't look like it would be a mech character, or at least a unit, but it is. So when you use an activated ability of a gear, give me +1 this turn. So Not sure how that's going to work too much. I'm going to probably have to see a lot more of the other spells or other gears, excuse me. So don't really have too much thoughts on this at this point. Got a bunch more champions here. We got Bard. I think this could also be really interesting in a Rumble deck, but you may exhaust your legend as an additional cost to play me. Rumble, I think his legend ability is more passive, so it's not going to matter if you exhaust it. And then when you play me, if you pay the additional cost, move any number of units to an open battlefield. So it is open, but if your opponent is playing like Yasuo and Ride the Wind and stuff and trying to get off those battlefields, it could be very interesting there. We got the spell for, using Ornn as the artwork on it, the Bellows Breath, so it has a repeat as well. And it's an action card. Deal 1 to up to 3 units at the same location. So pretty interesting there. Kind of like a poor Cathian Rain and a poor Fallen Star. We have the first Ezreal champion here. So when I attack or defend, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit here. I don't deal combat damage. That's really interesting that it doesn't deal combat damage, but probably it's looking to kill units off right off the bat. But he does have an action, so basically using that arcane shift to get back to your base. So you deal damage to a unit, you pay that additional cost of recycle, and then you're able to move him back to your base to save it. So you could either take out a unit, move it back to your base, and then next turn go back in and take it back. Next we got Jace, Mana Progress, so another champion from Arcane and from the main game. Again, another one that I've played in League of Legends itself. He says, when you play me, you may kill a friendly gear. If you do, you may play a gear with an energy cost no more than 7 from your hand this turn, ignoring its energy cost. So going to be good if there's really high equipment or gear. Kill something that's pretty weak, so if you have turn 1 or turn 2 draws of this with this unit, it's going to be pretty strong if you can get it out really early, really try and snowball that game, the power that you have. So we got Ornn again, the blue mine Ornn. So Ornn, the Forge God. He has Deflect 2, which is really interesting. I think that's the first time we've seen Deflect 2. He also has Weapon Master, and then he has +1 might for each friendly gear. So again, playing into Ornn, you want to get as much gear as you can out into the field, out into your units. And this is going to be really beefing it up. So if you have like 4 or 5 units out there, going to be quite strong with the gear. I know it's going to be tough with a 40 card deck to have as much, like what's the kind of breakneck or breakpoint for gear to units. It's going to be difficult, but you may want to play more gear and equipment in the Ornn deck than spells. So really interesting to see. Also, I just want to take this because the 3 recycle cost here is ridiculous. Works really well with the seals, but for a 2 rune and then 3 recycle, just as a reaction to draw 3 cards, yes, it could be you're trying to get the perfect card that you need. Like maybe you're trying to find a time warp or something to really end the game in that turn, but it just seems really costly for the draw 3. Going into the body runes here, so we got a bunch of units. I'll just pump on this because it was the first one. When you play me, you may draw 1 or buff me. So again, playing into the orange deck, the real body for buffing up all your units. This is, I think, is another good one. You may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield, so you're able to play if they have a weak unit there, so like a 2 cost, and it's your turn 2. You're able to get in there and take a quick point and really try and snowball the game there. Doran's Blade, again, a starting item from the main game. Just +2 might and for equipping, so just trying to beef up your units a little bit there. Go to Warmog's Armor, another item from the game, +1 might, and then also when I conquer, buff me. So essentially put it onto a unit. If you put this onto Green Lee Sin, because he has any number of buffs, I can see that doing really well here. So putting those buffs onto Green Lee Sin, trying to snowball, get as many buffs as you can on the unit, really try and get his might up as possible. So when you're conquering, as with Green Lee Sin, get in that additional buff. So essentially you can get 2 buffs on turn whenever you play the unit. And and are able to conquer. So pretty strong there. We'll look at the first Lucian champion here, or one of the Lucian champions here. So again, has Weapon Master, and then the first time I conquer each turn, ready me. So pretty strong, trying to get in and dash like he does in the main game, going from battlefield to battlefield and just trying to stay agile. And we'll look at the first Yone. I know there's some speculation that Yone is going to be the 13th legend, since he is on a lot of on the box or artwork. Nothing's been leaked yet or confirmed yet, but again, has Weapon Master F, we've seen on a lot of units. When I conquer an open battlefield, deal damage equal to my might to an enemy unit in a base. So if he has some equipment going on there, hit maybe his might 7 or 8 if he's buffed, can really deal a lot of damage to a unit in the base. So really would, I think, fit well into Lease Index, Set Decks, E Decks, a lot of those ones, just trying to control the board yourself, the board state. So really going to be quite a strong champion unit. We'll look at last two champions here before we go into the Chaos color frame. So we got Jax, Unrelenting, again Weapon Master just like the other Jax. When you attach an equipment to me, you may pay 1 rune to draw 1. So just trying to get through your cards faster to find that right equipment or right spell or unit that you're looking for. Might go well with Dazzling Aurora in order to try and find it as early as possible. And it's just a exhaust the rune, so don't have to recycle anything more than the play cost. So can be really good there. And then looking at Sivir, which this is my first time seeing it. I didn't realize that she has a 3 recycle cost there. But she has Deflect 2, which is good. And then when I conquer after an attack, if you assign 5 or more excess damage to enemy units, you may deal that much to an enemy unit. So essentially, if there's other units at another battlefield or base, you might be able to kill it right then and there. But I think that 3 recycle cost of body runes is kind of ridiculous. You're definitely going to want to play a seal or something in there. For 7 might, it's strong. The Deflect 2, also really strong, but I think that recycle cost right off the bat is going to be tough early on. It could set you back quite a lot. So looking into the Chaos runes here, Doran's Ring, another set-in item like Doran's Shield and Doran's Blade. When I conquer, discard 1, then draw 1, so could go really well with Annie. And Jinx decks where you're trying to get through your cards as fast as possible, even for Timu set up for Mundo. And then also a +1 might. Loyal Pup, we got to look at it. It's a cute dog wearing like Timu's hat. When you defend at a battlefield, you may move me there. So just trying to shore up your defense. This is interesting. When I move, play a gold gear token exhausted. So something you want to get out turn 1 and then move it to a battlefield turn 2. Get that gear, start rolling, which that is the one thing I guess I should mention with Sivir is you have the gear, the gold, so gonna make that recycle a lot better. Something I got to get my mind around of the using the gold, so will help with that recycle cost, but gonna need to get that out. But I mean, there is other ways to facilitate the gold items, so that's probably gonna it's gonna be easier to play Sivir. We got Boots of Swiftness, one of my favorite boots to use in the game, just because you're just trying to be as fast as possible on some units. So it gives your unit ganking, and then also +2 might. So being able to move from battlefield to battlefield pretty easily, and then also giving that little boost in might. We'll look at the first Fizz card we've seen here. So Fizz Trickster. When you play me, you may play a spell from your trash with energy cost no more than 3, ignoring its energy cost, and then recycle that spell after you play it. So kind of could work well with Annie and Jinx, where once you use a spell, that goes into your trash, and then now you can play it again, essentially. So pretty interesting card there. Got a few more units here. We got Aurelia, the purple Aurelia, the Chaos Aurelia. Your spells that choose me cost 1 rune or 1 recycle less, so I would assume that's one or the other. Actually be really good for like flash and stuff, just trying to save your Aurelia to set it up for later in the game. Also Vex, so I believe this is getting a deck in the next set. I know someone that I play with, Nexus Knights, who's really looking forward to Vex as they play Legends of Runeterra, so he's really excited for this card. So while I'm in combat, friendly spells cost 1 rune, 1 recycle less to a minimum of 1. And enemy spells cost 1 rune, 1 recycle more. So this, unlike Irelia, I think is addition, so they both cost 1 more or 1 less. So that's actually going to be really good and could play well into Irelia. They might be able to stack, so might be able to really add on or reduce the amount of resources needed from you and from your opponent. We got Chaos Draven now, so Draven Audacious. He has Deflect, and then the first time I win combat each turn, you score 1 point. When I die in combat, choose an opponent, they score 1 point. So a lot of risk, but also a lot of reward there. And I believe this, yeah. So getting into the last color here, so Order. Let's see, is there anything crazy? This one's not bad. Again, turn 1. Get this out, get it to a battlefield, and then with Death Kneel, play a gold gear token exhausted. So just trying to get as many gold items or gold tokens out there. Could be pretty interesting. Definitely something that you're going to want to draw turn 1 or turn 2, get it out there, and get kind of snowbally there. BF Sword, I know Travis Gafford revealed this one, but BF Sword, if you know what it means, it really holds true. But it adds 3 might to a unit, pretty strong for a gear token. So actually would be really good with this card, Unsung Hero. So Death Kneel, if I was mighty, draw 2. So if you have BF Sword onto the Unsung Hero, it becomes mighty. It gets that 5 might. It's killed. I believe the equipment still stays, and now you can draw 2. So that would be a good play. You'd probably be able to put turn 2, you put out Unsung Hero first, you put BF Sword, snowball that game, get those 2 cards, and get looking to late game, mid and late game. Looking at the other Rek'Sai champion here, so when I attack, you may reveal the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may play 1, then recycle the rest. If the card played is a unit, you may play it here. So if you're attacking and you're able to get an extra unit in those 2 that you draw, going to help strengthen that assault. Might actually be able to swing it to you if you were down 1 or 2 might be able to swing in your favor. We were able to now conquer that battlefield. And again, there's a lot of synergy with the Rek'Sai Legend and the cards in those colors in order to look at the cards, play them for free, etc. So quite strong there. Got another Renata Glass, Industrialist. Your tokens enter ready, so could be interesting with Victor if you get her out there. All your recruits enter ready, all the gold enters ready. So quite basic, but also quite effective. We have our first Soraka card here. So I must be assigned combat damage last. Gonna be pretty cool. So opposite of tank. And then if another unit you control here would die, if it has less might than me, instead heal it, exhaust it, and recall it. So send it to base. So pretty interesting. Anything that is 4 might or 3 might or less, be able to save it there. So if you have 2 or 3 units there, and obviously that unit with 3 might or less is going to die, now it can go back to base. First Xin Zhao we see here, so he has tank, and then I enter ready if you have 2 or more units in your base. So essentially just trying to, if you have already 2 units ready, enter Xin Zhao, he becomes ready as well, and now you have 3 units that you're ready to send to a battlefield to start a showdown. We now have Order Azir, so he has Accelerate. Again, Accelerate's very good, especially if you're falling behind and really need to just make up tempo or conquer a battlefield. So when I attack, you may move any number of your token units to a battlefield. So I would assume this means you can move them even if they are exhausted. So that could be quite strong if you have some sand soldiers there and you just need to move, or even with Victor and you have recruits, you play him, accelerate him, move him to a battlefield, bring in those extra units, be able to get more might up and probably conquer it, or even to hold it for next turn if you're trying to hold and win the game. And then last champion unit, we have Fiora. When a unit you control becomes mighty, you may pay an additional order rune to ready it. So this could be well with Unsung Hero, other things that have mighty or can become mighty because of the gear and equipment now. So interesting. It doesn't sound too great. It is giving all your order champions or any other champions accelerate, but I don't know how well that's going to do because you do have to make them mighty. And now we'll go over quick some of the signature spells that have been released thus far. There's not too many. We have Lucian's signature spell, Relentless Pursuit. So it's an action, so you move a friendly unit. You may attach an equipment with the same controller to it. This turn, that unit has, when I conquer, you may move me to the base. So essentially, making any unit able to go back to base once you conquer. So get that point, recall your unit to base, and save it for next turn. Went over that. We went over Spin and Axe. Void Rush, so this is for Rek'Sai. Reveal the top 2 cards of your main deck. You may play one of them, reducing its cost by 2 runes. Draw any you did not play this way. So I would assume that if you can't play anything, you'd still draw them. And then if you do play one, it's obviously 2 runes less. We have Aurelia's Defiant Dance here. So it's a reaction. You give a unit +2 might this turn and another unit -2 might this turn. So very similar to Victor's Siphon Power. Then, yep, we already went over Danger Zone. So quickly just look at the overnumbered units here, or alt arts here for some of the champions from the first set. It's playing into the Spiritforged. All 4 of these skins or alt arts are from the Spiritforged line. They are in the main game. So you have Vayne's Spiritforged skin here. Really, really cool artwork. My personal favorite's the Ari. I have the skin. I've played with it numerous times. It looks great in game. I love the color here. I'm not a huge fan of the signature card. I don't know if you could tell that I did flip there. It's right on her hand. I don't like the white letter in there. I think it's very hard to see. Personally, I don't mind either one. I would prefer the overnumbered regular because the signature you really can't see. You got the set here. Really cool signature there. I love that signature there. I think it pops a little bit because of the purple in the back, but really cool artwork there. And then last we have Darius here, just completely menacing, looks awesome. I'm assuming there's going to be more Spiritforged alt arts here, but we'll see once they get released. And that's everything that I wanted to cover here today. I know this is probably a pretty long video, but just wanted to showcase some of the new cards that we've seen thus far, ones that I'm excited to play in the Rumble deck, as that is going to be my main legend moving forward. And if you stuck around this long and did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing. Trying to look to post videos every other day here, and just trying to, for right now, reach my goal of about 100 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you give me a subscribe, it does help out a lot. And I appreciate you all tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you.